This is Marriage on the Half Shell, Raw and Exposed. It's been a little bit since we've done one.
Yep.
We've been busy with lots of things, and we're going to try to get through the rest of the Gottman material before the year is out, I think.
We should.
Yeah, and then we've got a couple other ideas that we're working on, but Christmas is coming, so
yeah,
that's where our focus is right now. Because this Christmas is not going to be like last Christmas.
Yeah, we'll be here.
Yeah, we're staying here.
Because our grandkids, one of them, she said, "You weren't here for us last Christmas." Little Miss Guilt Trip.
But that's not why we're here for Christmas. I don't want to be away from my grandchildren again for Christmas, so that's not happening.
But it's good that they want us.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. It is.
Okay.
All right, so we decided to name this one. We're going to go over the Gottman Principles 3 and 4. I think we're going to try to go over both of them.
Okay.
And we decided to call this one "The Ties That Bind" because it is about how to strengthen your connection to each other.
Yes.
Right? And some of it might actually sound a little bit on the boring side because it's not all about romantic trips and bunches of flowers and, expensive steak dinners and things like that. It's really not.
Yeah, I think the culture has trained us to think the rhythm of everyday living in marriage, that it's trained us to see that as boring. Mm-hmm. Stability as boring.
Right.
But that's really, it's what you want.
Yeah.
And then you add the spice.
Yeah.
On top of that.
Right.
Yeah. You can't make the spice everything because
you'll burn out.
You burn out. Exactly. Yeah. It's too tiring.
Yeah.
It's too,
But I think the point is you need to what you should be doing is redefining romance as you go along. What does romance look like?
What is it really?
Right. Because when you start dating, it looks one way, and then you get engaged and it looks another way, and then you've got the newlywed thing, and that's a whole other and then you kind of settle into a rhythm, and you have to be intentional and look for it.
And that's the way it's designed to be.
Right.
I mean, our bodies, we've talked about this before.
Yeah.
Our bodies biologically give us an assist for the first year and a half of a relationship. Right? And then after that, you have to really be, like you said, be more intentional.
Yeah.
Because the neurotransmitters and hormones begin to change over.
Right. We're not meant to live on that dopamine high all the time, all the time. Can't do it. So, bids for connection. That's kind of the first part of this.
So principle 3.
Right.
The Gottman say turn toward each other instead of away.
Right.
And when we did our marriage seminar a while back, we said this is really connection builds intimacy.
Yes.
And I think we've talked about bids for connection before.
Probably.
Let's do a review.
Okay.
We'll go from there.
Right. So what does it look like? Bids for connection.
Yeah.
For us, we can go through some examples for us, right? I know for me, it is a big part of it is conversation.
Sure.
I like when we have a Saturday morning a custom now where we we generally keep Saturday morning open.
Mm-hmm.
And we like to sleep in a little bit, which means about 7:30. And then we get up and we make a big breakfast together, and we'll sit at the table, and just topics come up, and we could be sitting there for 2 hours, just talking. And we actually try to do that several times a week.
Yeah.
So for me, that's romantic to me, because it means that we're connecting, that you're listening to me, that I have a chance to listen to you, and we have this conversation that kind of, it goes all over the place.
Yeah.
Right.
And this kind of goes back to the first principle where we talk to each other. But,
yeah.
But I think, and that's all true. I think the bid for connection is the thing that starts the conversation.
Yes.
A lot of times.
Yeah.
So we've done, well, before we get to the specifics, it's kind of like the Gottmans define it as attention, affection, humor, support.
Yeah.
Right? And they say there's deep drama in the boring moments, right?
Right.
And we talked about, we talked about the rhythm, just normal married life.
Yeah.
If you're raised on drama and fighting and everything else, there's a little bit of a dysfunction, and you need to go back to the relaxed times where you're just together, being together.
Yeah.
Right. And we can be together. And then those conversations happen.
Yeah.
We've talked about just having something to talk about intentionally.
Right.
So the way they, let's see if I can look at our notes. Okay. So bids for connection, we touch each other when we pass by. I mean,
yeah, pretty much
all
every
the time,
time.
right?
Every time. Yeah.
And you've seen those YouTube shorts, pat each other's butt, whatever, or a hug or whatever.
Right. Well, every time I walk through your office while you're working, I run my fingernails along your back.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or, just give you a little kiss on the forehead because you're in a meeting or something like that. But yeah.
But it could be simple things like, hey, look at that bird out the window. I mean, seriously, right?
Yeah.
But if you ignore that, I mean, it's not really about the bird. It's about, let's connect with each other.
Yeah.
And if you ignore it, oh, it's a boring bird. Why then you fail to connect in that moment.
Yeah.
But if you look at the bird and, it's not really about the bird, but that you're paying attention together. And then you talk about it.
Yeah.
Or talk about something because your attention is drawn toward each other.
Right.
Yours is, another one is fighter jets for you. Abby, whenever
I'll drop everything.
Whenever we hear fighter jets, you can tell the difference between a fighter jet and a just a passenger plane, right?
Or a little private plane.
Yeah. And Abby will run outside and go look for it. It's like, all right. What else we got here? We share memes and reels. A lot of people do that.
Yes. Yeah.
Articles. I will read interesting things and try to talk about them.
Yeah, I do too.
And you do as well.
My day is like, there's podcasts that I listen to.
Yeah.
A lot of it's like political and news and things like that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And so like I try to stay away from political.
Yeah.
But Abby likes it, so that's fine. And she'll listen to, something that's 2 or 3 hours long.
Yeah.
And it used to be, hey, listen to this. And I was like, I don't want to listen to a 3-hour podcast.
Sorry, Joe Rogan.
For one.
I like you. He has
I like Joe too, but
with the 3 hours.
I don't want to listen to 3 hours. Right?
Yeah.
And so Abby will listen to it and she'll either summarize some of the main points and then we actually have a discussion about it.
Right.
Right? And I'd rather have a 2-hour discussion about it.
I can't
listen to it.
But I can't listen to podcasts with you though. Because if I try to play it, you have running commentary. And I can't. It's like I'm in it, I'm listening to it, I'm absorbing things, and all of a sudden you're going, well, that's not right. What do you say that for? And I'm going, okay. Now I have to pause it.
Either that
Because-
or I'll have some commentary one way or the
Yes,
other.
that. So it's difficult for me to listen to podcasts with you anyway, especially if it's on any kind of controversial topic or if any of you people out there are Joe Rogan fans, you know that I'm a Christian and he's not, so he will say things from time to time that are just completely wild, and
Yeah.
I have been listening to him now for 5 years, so I roll my eyes and move on with my day.
Yeah.
It's like I don't really, okay, Joe, whatever, but you can't handle it. You
I
will
just have to say
You
something.
have to say something. So, and because I want to listen, because you're more important than Joe Rogan, I have to pause the podcast and listen to you, and then I go back to my, listening. But
I appreciate that.
I'm like, I don't care that he's still a heathen, and that's, I'm hoping that that's going to change, but who knows?
Okay.
Yeah,
Yep.
whatever.
Yep. But she will send me.
I'll timestamp them
Timestamp and
sometimes.
say, start here.
Start here,
for 10
listen to
minutes,
like 10
whatever.
minutes. Yeah.
And that's okay. I can do that.
Yeah.
But I'll bring. I like to read stuff, so I'll read articles and say, "Here's what I learned." We've talked about this before.
Right.
Here's what I learned today, and we'll go on walks.
Yeah.
And talk about that.
Yeah. And see, none of this sounds romance novel romantic
No, it's not.
or chick flick level romantic.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound like that.
It's not
But this is
passionate. It's not. Well, unless we get into it.
Well,
We can get passionate when we talk, but
Yeah, we can.
it's not the romance passionate like you see in the movies.
which is BS.
It's most of the time. Most of the time. It's not Disney romance.
No, that is BS.
So anyway, but those sorts of things, you talk about things, you learn about each other,
Yeah.
you find out what they think of something, and then they find out what you think of something, and
Yeah.
and you don't always have to agree, because this is about talking, not agreeing on everything.
Right.
Because we're not talking about some of the other stuff where we, there are things you have to agree on.
Yeah.
Right. But
Yeah.
when we talk about just, what did you learn, or quantum physics, or stuff like that.
Yeah.
How does gravity work?
Yeah.
Or what did Joe Rogan talk about for 10 minutes? That hasn't, it doesn't really matter, but you can talk about it and be together.
Mhm.
So I think that's what that's really about. Makes sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I jumped too far.
I'm not sure where you went.
We jumped to the examples, but
Right.
okay. Oh, that? I think we talked about that. Okay. There was a
Probably.
time we were arguing and went to church,
Yeah.
and we were sitting. We put our kids in the kids ministry type thing at the church, and we were sitting on a bench in the hallway.
Yeah. Or I went out there to sit because I was like, I'll do hallway duty, but we were still fighting, and you came out and sat down next to me.
Yep.
And you were holding my hand, and you're trying to.
Well, we were holding hands and talking, but of course you're in church, so you don't actually.
I was still mad though.
You don't be fighting, but we were mad.
Yeah.
And then one of the pastor's wives came by and said, "You two look so cute." And it's like, yeah, but we're fighting. But we were connected,
Yeah.
right? So we could fight with each other, have a big disagreement, but stay connected.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to say stuff that you shouldn't say, that you don't mean, right? Even when we disagree.
We're all,
And we'll get into
we'll
get into how to fight
Sure.
in the next episode.
Sure, but that will happen too. You
could.
and I both said
Yes,
things to each
there's-
other that we,
There's always grace and forgiveness. I agree.
Yeah.
But you should try not to. That's
yes,
what I mean.
Yes.
Let's see. Complaining or venting can also be
Yeah.
a bid, right?
Yeah.
And maybe it's not done necessarily perfectly, but it's a bid, right? You want your spouse to listen to you,
Mhm.
and maybe you're complaining about something or venting about something, and I've talked about this for the men. It's like, don't try to solve the problem, right?
Unless
Just listen.
asks,
Unless she specifically asks, just listen, because your mission isn't solving the problem. Your mission is solving her problem, which is she needs somebody to talk to. So you listen, and hear what she's saying, and ask relevant questions if appropriate, and all that. And that becomes the mission. And if she, very rarely, but she may actually ask for a solution, and then you can do it. Don't waste that opportunity to just listen and help your wife feel heard. And wives, maybe your husband's talking about something that's boring to you, but if he's got to listen to you vent about something, then you can listen to him talk about something too, right? Because you're connecting. And then maybe you learn something too, and you learn about each other's world. Okay. All right. Where are we at? We just talked about men's missions.
Right. So men.
So we talked about that.
Okay. Yeah. Men like to have a mission.
Yep. We like to solve problems.
Yeah, but if that's not what you want, like there's a little meme here that got shared, and we stuck it in here.
Yeah.
This woman says, "My shawarma fell apart," which is some kind of Indian dish, I think.
Yeah.
And the boyfriend responds, "Oh no, are you solution oriented about it, or in the feeling stage?" Which is the same thing that you asked me. When I start venting, you will say, do you want to vent about it, or do you want me to fix it?
Yeah, I'm taking a sip and choking.
Don't do that.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think I agree with that. I think at this point, that's an illustration, but I think, man, we can just assume it's the feeling stage, and we don't need to try to come up with solutions. Often your wife may have already solved it.
She just needs to talk about it.
Just needs to talk about it, and that's fine. Well, you were pointing at this. Avoid the temptation to say calm down. Yeah, don't do that. There are other ways, but at this point, you just listen. And don't, I think the big thing, and this is something I've struggled with in the past, is don't take it like a personal attack on you. And this goes both ways, but this is my experience. It's not necessarily, and most of the time, it's not a personal attack on you as a man.
Yeah.
So what you can do is kind of ground yourself. Just, close your eyes for a minute, half a minute, take a couple deep breaths. Imagine that you're just Teflon man, right? And nothing sticks. It just goes on past, and you're just listening. And then most of the time, it's not, when you're talking to me, it's not me.
Right.
I'm not going to automatically assume that I'm the problem.
Yeah.
I used to, and then we'd get into a bigger fight.
Yeah.
And that's not the way to go.
Actually, some of our conflicts still go that way.
I know. I fail that, and I'm trying to change.
Yeah.
That part, but it's not necessarily what you're talking about in the moment.
Right.
I need to just shut up and listen, because that's what you need.
Yeah.
And I have the temptation to walk away and then not come back and not say, I need a minute.
Yeah.
Or whatever. And we're going to get into that again in the next episode.
Okay.
But the point is, I need to avoid that temptation and just ground myself and not take it personally.
Yeah.
Not assume I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Not assume I'm the bad guy. Right? You're
Mhm.
you just need to get some stuff out. And most of the time, it's not, like I said, most of the time it's not about me. It's about something going on in your life.
Yeah.
Or someone else. And I can just listen. And if I'm there for you, you don't feel abandoned.
I struggle
Which
with
is
that
a big
one.
struggle.
Yeah, I struggle with that one.
Right? So I can help with that. So,
Yeah.
You all hear me. I'm not perfect at it. And I mean, just this past year, I'm sure I've failed once or twice in that. So,
I think that we've had one or two like major blowout type fights this year, but don't remember what they were about. Really.
Okay.
Yeah.
But the point is, they didn't need to be fights.
No, they did not.
So anyway, guys, just take that. It's something that we'll talk about next episode.
Okay.
Related to how to deal with disagreements.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's keep going.
So there are some obstacles that we need to go over.
Yeah.
To
obstacles to the connection, bids for connection.
So one is the way you bring a problem to your spouse.
Yep.
And the example here is you say something like, "It would never occur to you to clear the table, would it?"
Right. So what she's saying.
Well,
it's a passive aggressive.
It is passive aggressive, but you don't use the word never either.
Well, okay, we'll get there. But
yeah.
So the bid is, can you please clear the table tonight? Right. It's just asking you for something, but it's done in this passive aggressive way. It never would occur to you.
Right.
To clear the table.
Yeah. Yeah.
Would it? Right. And so if whichever of you hears this, if you hear that, you can take out the passive aggressive part of the anger, and instead of reacting to that, try to hear what's going on.
Yeah, it's harsh startup is what.
Yeah, and the
Gottmans call it.
When you bring something to your spouse, if you come with a harsh startup, which is something like anger, a passive aggressive thing, then it could derail it.
Right.
Completely.
Yeah.
All right. But it happens. So the other person needs to, again, just take a breath. Most of the time, if we just take a few seconds, and we'll, you can hear what's really being said.
Yeah.
All right. So what is their example? Sounds like a criticism, right? Which is, we've talked about the horsemen. If you go way back to the four horsemen.
Yeah.
I don't know which episode that is, but it's back there. So you don't want to respond with being defensive. You take a minute, look for the bid, and just say, "Oh, you're right," and then clear the table.
But then I think it's okay to go back to your spouse later and say, "Can we handle this a different way?"
Yes, the Gottmans definitely say, go back and say, the way you said that was really not called for.
Right.
Just ask.
Yeah.
Or do I ignore you? Right.
But also, if whatever your spouse does, and I've said this how many times now, you have to express some gratitude.
Well, there's that.
Big things, small things, it doesn't matter what it is. What this is doing is what Jordan Peterson calls punishing. You're punishing the person rather than, kind of punishment reward. You're not encouraging the better behavior by doing this kind of harsh startup.
Yeah.
But if they do it, and then you go back and say, thank you for clearing the table, the person feels
like you appreciate them.
like you appreciate them, and they're likely to do more.
Sure.
Right.
Absolutely.
So you got to keep that in mind too.
Yep.
The second obstacle is it's a very modern thing because it has to do with constantly being distracted by phones, screens, things like that. You and I are guilty of some of this. We can be. So when you're having a conversation, don't have your phone. When we go out on dates, I take out my phone and I put it on the table, but I put it off to the side. And it is there in case one of the kids is dying.
Yeah, that's
it.
That's the only reason you have it.
Yeah, I mean...
Studies show that even if you have your phone out and on the table, but even if it's face down on the table and you're not touching it, it inhibits conversation more than if you didn't take it out at all. Right. So we've gotten used to it in the sense that I don't take my phone out generally. Yeah. And I know that Abby has hers out, like she said, because of in case I'm 911. Yeah.
For everybody.
For something like that.
Yeah.
But generally, she's not going to pick that phone up.
No.
And I know it.
Yeah.
Right. But if you don't have that situation, then or either try to understand that, right? Say you're a younger couple and you've got a babysitter and it's like one of you is going to put your phone on the table, it's face down, and you're not going to pick it up to look at stuff. Yeah. Right? Yeah. Turn your notifications off. The only thing you want to get is a phone call from the babysitter or a text from the babysitter. And that's it. And it's not going to interrupt you. Yeah. I think that's reasonable, no matter what the studies say. I think that's reasonable. Mm-hmm. But get used to that. But if you're constantly on your phone, looking at that while you're trying to listen to somebody, then your attention is really on the phone. Yeah. It just is. Yeah. Right? The phone is designed to pull you in and keep you looking at it. Yeah. So if somebody's trying to talk to you, you can't do both at once. So you're going to miss the bids for connection there. Yeah. Yeah. So anyway. All right. Where are we?
We are at principle number 4.
Okay. So that was principle 3. So principle 4 is let your spouse influence you. And what is that?
Well, it's just, you're marrying someone who's not you. They have different perspectives. They have different experiences. They walk through life differently than you do. They think about things differently than you do. Yep. And that's okay. It's better if you let your spouse's experiences influence you and vice versa. I mean, you have to go both ways. So what you've got this highlighted here. So we're generally complementarians and talk things through. There have been a few instances where we haven't come to an agreement before making a decision. This makes sense because men and women are equal in dignity and value, but have different roles. Right? But this doesn't contradict your role as a leader. We just had to make it was a difficult decision for us, right? We just walked through this. I've been powerlifting now for 2 years, and I competed back in May. Well, now I'm crossing back over to the CrossFit thing, so I'm not sure what I'm doing. But so and it's not cheap. It really is not. And we didn't realize that when we tried to dive into the whole competitive thing. Yeah. But there are multiple things that have to be paid for. And I did a competition back in May, and then I pondered it over the summer and decided that I was going to do one more because my powerlifting membership is a year. Yeah. Right. So I had signed up for another competition in November, and some things got rearranged, and it turned out that it was going to be even more expensive than we had already discussed.
That's true.
And I kind of tossed the ball in your court.
Yeah.
I was like, I really would like to do this, but I know where we're at right now. You know, we've had some big expenses.
Big expenses.
This year, some very big expenses this year. And you're taking me away twice in the next couple of months, you know, on some trips. And then
there's your romance.
and then Christmas Christmas is a big thing. We've already spent some money on it. You know, I've been stockpiling cookie ingredients since June. And I have 3 crates in our bedroom right now that have presents in them already. So there's already some spending going on there. So he was like, look, I think this is going to tip it over too far. So I really think you should drop out of this competition. Now, this also means that I'm not competing next year. I'm just not.
Right.
So I'm kind of having to rearrange my thinking process right now, because when you're competing, you're training for that competition. Yeah. And now I'm not.
And I know Abby needs something to be training towards. Yeah. So I'm going to try to help her.
So we're going to figure that out.
I
will wander around the gym like a 10-year-old with ADHD. I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah. So
but it just can't be a competition.
No. We're just not in that. We're not in a good place right now for
Anyway.
So
she had to take into account my insight into our finances and so on. And, you know, and we've talked about, without getting too far into it, she quoted a thing related to Christian faith, and you know, we're complementarians, right? We complement each other. That's what husbands and wives do, and it's just the way it is.
Yeah.
But somebody's got to be in charge. Yes. Somebody's got to be the captain. And, as Christians, it's the husband.
Yeah.
But you know, we've talked about what leadership means from a husband's perspective, and I'm accountable to God, and leaders are servant leaders, right? Mm-hmm. So there's no dictatorship, but at the same time, and we've said, so most of the time we can make decisions together and not have any issues.
Right.
But now and then, one of us, somebody's got to make the final call, and that's me. But I always try to take into account Abby's perspective too. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so I let her influence me in that way, and she can do that, and I influence her. So even when there isn't a disagreement, you know, we still influence each other.
Yeah.
Right. And if you allow that, right, and take both of your perspectives into account, then you're going to get a better result than if one of you is just
plowing ahead.
If each of you plow ahead, right, into whatever you think, and then you end up not going in the same direction. Right. So part of this is we're talking about connection, being bonded together, so you stay on the same path.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah.
And generally, the result is going to be better with the two of you together than it is when you're separate.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Where are we at? Okay. So, okay, here's one. Women tend to be more in tune with the emotional state of your marriage. And men, you know, have you ever been surprised when your wife brings up something when you think everything's great, or when she melts down out of nowhere, right?
Yeah.
More than 80% 80% of the time, the wife is the one who brings up sticky marital issues while husbands try to avoid them. Okay, so this is back to talking about the marriage itself.
Mm-hmm.
Husbands, you should rely on your wife when she brings up something that she feels is wrong in the marriage. Like maybe you're not doing the emotional bits, right? Or not paying attention, or you're working too much, or she's working too much.
Right.
And you're starting to feel a little disconnected. It doesn't have to go down a bad road, right? People should really notice patterns very quickly and then do something about it.
Mm-hmm.
And wives are in tune with that more than we are as men, because we're thinking about outside the marriage, working, building, whatever.
Right.
And then we need to be open to listening and paying attention. And that doesn't mean giving up too much or giving up who you are, losing your identity, all of that kind of stuff.
Right.
Right. It's just what's going to be, what's helpful, what's the problem, and what's a good solution for both of you
Mm-hmm.
to stay connected in the marriage. So I think that's what that's about.
Well, I mean, I just thought of an example. Because you went through a little period of time last month, I guess, where you were just frustrated with work.
Yeah.
And it lasted 3 weeks.
3 weeks.
3 weeks. Yeah. It was about 3 weeks, but I could tell.
Sure.
You were like, I don't feel any different. I could tell. It's like there's a little bit of an edge to your voice when you talk to me, and I don't think you intended that, so it was just kind of...
No, I was like,
yeah.
I'm not making any progress, but
yeah,
I'm feeling
but
okay.
I could tell you're frustrated, and then, and this is a weird thing that between you and me, but you snore. You snore when you are stressed.
Yeah, I think so. I believe you.
Yeah, well, you... And it was like every night. You were snoring every night.
Yeah.
So I was really focused on trying to minimize your other stress going on around us.
Yeah.
And trying not to stress you out myself. Like add to it, just try
I appreciate that.
But I was just trying to stay in tune to that.
Yeah.
And
we did talk about it too.
Yeah, we did talk about it a lot.
And it's since it's something, and this has happened in the past too. When I get stressed, I don't feel it.
Right.
Right. I don't.
It comes out,
but it does come out.
Yeah.
And Abby sees it, and we can talk about it, and I can hear her out and try to watch what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Right. Because I don't want to come at her with an edge, like she says.
Yeah.
It's unnecessary. And then, we had the breakthrough. So I'm finally, making some progress.
Yeah. And you pretty much stopped snoring.
Yeah.
You don't really. So but
the point
is,
is,
that connection's always been there.
But the point is, our marriage was not hurt by me acting stressed,
right?
Even though I didn't realize it. It was kind of strengthened because she could point out what was going on,
right?
That things that I didn't even see that were happening.
So another way, we wrote this down here, that we influenced each other was how are we going to raise these children, all these children that we want?
Yeah, we had a lot of children. We
did have a lot of children. And we made that decision while we were engaged that we were going to have a big family.
Right.
There was some negotiation there.
We had to work out. I think we had to work out as we went along how we were going to train them.
Well, and there's 6 very different individual people,
yes,
and they all required different things.
Sure.
Yeah.
And So, when like we said, we figured out the number that we'd like
Yeah.
while we were engaged, but we also should have figured that out. How are we going to train these kids? What are we going to do?
Yeah. Well, we decided to homeschool them before
And we
got
did that, sure.
before we got married too, because my amazing stepmom took my brother out of school and started to homeschool him, and I just liked what I saw.
Yeah.
And I liked the environment that he was in, and the kids that he was hanging around, and it made sense to me. And she and I had a lot of long conversations about, and this was way back. I mean, he's 48 now, so this was like way before homeschooling was even really a thing at all.
It wasn't big.
No.
Right.
And it actually wasn't. It was kind of just getting off the ground when we started having kids too.
Yeah.
And now it's everywhere.
We had more support, certainly.
We did have more support than Sherry did, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, she actually had to really go out and seek out a lot of support for what she was doing, and she was like being watched by people from the state of Maryland, and it was just all this stuff that she had to go through, but she did it.
Yeah.
And she homeschooled him until, I don't know, his junior year or sophomore year or something like.
He went to that whatever Fork Union or whatever.
He went there for a year, but he then he went to another Christian school. So I think it was like around high school when she stuck him in a private school. But anyway,
we decided to do it.
We decided to do it because of her.
Right. And then Abby will sit there. You will always say you did terrible in school.
I did.
But, this should give us all hope, right? You homeschooled all 6 of them, and they were all very different, and they all had very progressed at different speeds.
Yeah.
And that sort of thing. So, but you did it, and we got them all
homeschooling
through.
them was so much better education than I ever got actually going to school, ever.
And you got your own education.
I did.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, that's true. But anyway, back to, we influence each other to decide things, and I think it's benefited us immensely. I can only say that. It's like,
well, our oldest is homeschooling hers.
mm-hmm.
The next 2 down, I think daughter number 2 has her kid in a private school. I'm not really sure. There's reasons for that. I'm not neglecting my children. And I think daughter number 3 is homeschooling hers, and daughter number 4 is going to, and then my son and his wife are also.
Yeah, but
they're going to homeschool.
Their kids are young, so.
Yeah, but Kate's been doing it. Well, Wilder's 11, so she's been homeschooling him for 6 years, something like that. So she's doing a great job.
Yeah, they all do.
Yeah. So
they're all doing a great job with their kids, so that's awesome.
So yeah, there's funny things like oh yeah. So there's a couple of funny stories, and we may have already told this one. I'm not sure, but because my mom was sick a lot, had to make pretty frequent trips to Indiana when the kids got a little older, and it was literally like I have to drop everything and drive 9 hours. And I'm sorry, but I got to do this, kind of thing. Yeah. Or find me a cheap plane ticket. I got to leave in a couple of days, and I'm going to be there for whatever it was.
Yeah, we worked that out.
So, but there was one trip when daughter number 3, I thought she was having nightmares and stuff. So I thought, she's too young to watch Jurassic Park. You can't do that. Please don't do that. And when I thought we had an agreement, when I walked out the door, no Jurassic Park, right? Right. No Jurassic Park. And I drove to Mom's and got there and walked in the door, and I called you, and she answered the phone, and the first thing she said was, guess what Daddy let me watch? Oh, okay. Can I talk to him? And I think I said something to the effect of, you're handling the nightmares. I'm not doing anything with this. I said no.
But there were no nightmares.
No, I mean, she was okay.
I thought about it, and
Yeah.
that was back when every now and then Abby would just make some declaration,
I would.
and
Yep.
I was like, I don't know. So, I thought about it and thought, she can handle this. So, and she did.
Yeah.
And the same thing with
no, Harry Potter was different.
the Harry Potter.
We were part of it. We were part of one of those Christian churches that was like, don't let your children watch Harry Potter. It's witchcraft. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
So we went back and we hemmed and hawed, and it's like, okay, but they read Chronicles of Narnia. I mean,
it's just
they
read
read other things.
They know magic.
And so you went on a business trip. You used to go on, business trips, and you, while you were on your trip, watched one of the movies.
The third one.
With the werewolf. Okay, with the werewolf. And you came home and went, this is fine. I don't care. Let them watch it. And my first 3 daughters were like, they were totally into Harry Potter.
Oh, yeah.
My oldest daughter would go to the bookstore when the new book was coming out.
Yeah.
And she'd do the whole volunteer thing, and she'd be selling the books. Oh my God. They still actually,
did too.
Yeah, but they actually all loved it. They loved the Harry, and they still do, actually.
Yeah.
And actually, we're in the process of watching them again now because it's Halloween. But that was, but that I had to step back and go, okay, I'm just gonna let this play out, and it turned out it's fine,
Yeah.
So, and now we like them too. And we've got we keep the books here if the grandkids want to read them or whatever. But we definitely got some pushback from people at church. For sure.
Yeah.
There were books in the bookstore specifically saying, don't let your children read these books. So we were like, okay, I don't know,
The Chronicles of Narnia is okay, right? Okay.
Anyway, but another big area for us, especially over the past few years, has been health and exercise.
Okay. Switching subjects.
Yeah, we're switching subjects.
Health and exercise.
Yeah.
Well, I think for me, if I was a bachelor, I don't know what I'd be doing.
Yeah.
Really. I mean, I could go either way. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, I could say, I don't want to do it. But Abby influences me. She's taught me a lot about health and so on.
Well, you've started to do your own research now.
And then I started,
we're on 2 separate diets. We don't even eat the same way.
Yeah, we don't eat the same, but we have different things that we're trying to solve.
Yeah.
And so that's fine.
Yeah.
So, but we influence each other. I'll tell her, about something I learned.
Right.
Related to health, and she'll tell me stuff.
Yeah. So
hopefully we're on the path toward, decent health and living another 30 years. So
I hope.
Our grandparents have lived that long. So if we're going to live that long, I want to do it in a way where I can still function, and so do you. So,
yeah.
And, we've got grandkids, and they're going to have kids.
Yeah.
And we want to be here and not just old.
Well, yeah, I like to tell people my oldest grandson is 11, so I've got about 2 years before the teenager testosterone kicks in, and he will be stronger than me.
True, but you could still deadlift him.
So at this point, I can still deadlift him and back squat him, and sometimes I just do it, just show a little dominance. Another way that you really influenced me is I tend to be very blunt when I say things, and sometimes it can come off a little almost autistic or harsh.
Yeah. Harsh.
So, and there are a lot of times when I'm going to go say this to this person, and you'll pull me aside and go, use these words instead. Because, so that's been helpful for me. And
I'm glad.
Yeah. There have been times when I've gotten into conflicts with my brothers, and they're going, Jay is typing these emails. No, he's not. Those are my words he's my filter.
Yeah.
Believe me, if you heard what I typed the first time, we wouldn't be having this conversation at all because you would not like me very much. So trust me, you want the filtered version, not.
I just, yeah. I'm more conciliatory.
Yeah.
So I make the language a little less harsh.
Yeah.
Sometimes, you know.
Yeah.
But Abby influences me to help me see where it's like, look, no, you need to be more direct.
Yeah.
And you need to actually say something, right? I tend to like, let's see how it plays out. But sometimes it's like, you know, you actually need to say something.
Yeah.
And a lot of times it's like, hey, this is fine. Or, you know, I get this. Thanks for saying this. You know, helping me see it.
Right.
So we help each other. It's not perfect, but it's a lot better than it would be if we were by ourselves.
Right. So, and, okay. So
right.
The last point we want to make here, I think
we've covered.
Yes.
The two principles.
Yes, we have. So study your spouse. Figure out what their signals are, what their, you know, try to discern where they're at any given time. Like I had to do when you were stressed about work.
Yeah.
Like I could see the tension ramping up,
right.
And then I started to get signals from you that there was some underlying stress, and
right.
You know, it's like, okay, I got to help you get through this. Yeah. There's no way I could go in and tell you how to solve that problem.
No, I had to solve the problem, but she was able to do two things, I think. One was point out where I was affecting our relationship.
Right.
And so I was able to kind of pay more attention.
Mm-hmm.
But the second thing, probably more important, excuse me, oh, gosh. That's what happens when you get up at 5:30. The second thing was she could help de-stress life around me.
Yeah.
Right. And even though we don't have any kids in the house right now, you know, there's still a lot of stuff going on.
Right.
So she can help. She helped with that. So she knew what was going on probably before I did, or even more so than I did.
Mm-hmm.
So you and then, like I said, she was able to influence me by, you know, pointing it out, helping me see what's going on.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. That last thing, what was that? Yeah. So if Abby gets quiet, I know something's on her mind. That's interesting because otherwise, you know, she's not usually quiet.
Yeah.
But
I was that kid in school who always talks too much on my report card.
But so it's really about patterns and things that are out of the ordinary. So, and I'm not saying Abby talks too much. I'm just saying that when she gets quiet, I can. It's a signal.
Yeah.
It says there's something going on that I should check.
And you've really gotten a lot better about that. Like you will come to me and go, something's going on. Like,
yeah,
what's wrong? You know.
Yeah, yeah, and it could go both ways. But
yeah,
but that's what I've learned about you. Right. So, like Abby said earlier, we should all study, pay attention, right?
Yeah.
To our spouse, and learn.
Yeah.
Right, and it's something we can all do, and it takes a little time, but we should do it. All right, so we've covered two principles.
We have.
So what's left? There's three more.
Right.
5 and 6 have to do with disagreements, and then 7 has to do with, if I remember correctly, shared memories. It's been a little while.
Okay.
That almost seems like we could cover it pretty quickly. So I guess what we'll do next time is talk about 5 and 6.
Okay. We've already kind of done one on conflict, so we'll have to We'll have to talk
Well, we'll
about
look
that
at
one.
it. Yeah, but yeah. So we'll cover that. And then, we'll probably be into Thanksgiving.
Probably, yes.
So we'll find something fun to talk about, I guess. All right. Anything else to cover?
I don't think so.
This
I think
time?
we covered it.
All right.
This has been Marriage on the Half Shell, Raw and Exposed. Have a nice evening.